What's going on, everybody? C4 here. It's gonna be like a combination live reaction slash player grades. I said I was done watching the game, and then Philly just recovered a fumble. Chris Carson, I think, fumbled it on like a weird looking handoff from Russell Wilson. But we'll just kind of give you a rant, or at least now the opening rant, and then we can kind of finish. Because man, oh my God, this is so boring. It's so bad. It's so boring. Eagles have 3 points. Now, the biggest thing that the only time I'm gonna defend Carson Wentz this whole day is right now. I saw Carson Wentz is trending on Twitter, and they had his overthrow to Miles Sanders. I think I blocked probably 7 people on my Twitter timeline that was, quote tweeting that. Clearly, weren't watching the game because, first of all, the win was actually. We'll come to that the last point. First of all, if Carson Wentz completes that pass, there was 2 Seattle guys right there. It would have been still a field goal attempt. It was a bad miss, terrible miss. You got to make that throw. But then, going in the same direction, Russell Wilson overthrew a wide-open tight end in the end zone, therefore leading me to believe that the wind has something to do with both these quarterbacks missing. Russell Wilson is the MVP race. But now everyone wants to post and talk about the Carson Wentz missed throw. So I actually literally think I muted. I have an all-time mute list on Twitter. But there's people that, I never would have thought in my life I'd mute it. If anyone here has tweeted that, you got muted. You're on the mute list. Don't know if I'm ever going to take you off. You're on the bench. So we're looking at the rest of this game, though. I mean, Carson Wentz is probably having his worst game I've ever seen. But it's not like it's like last week, though, right? Last week, Carson Wentz played very bad. Everyone wants to blame the Eagles' loss to the New England Patriots on Carson Wentz playing bad, right? But the weather was shit. Tom Brady on the other side had the most incompletions he's ever had in the first half. Tom Brady played very, very bad. And here yet again today, Carson Wentz having a stinker. Russell Wilson, outside of a trick play, has also been very, very, very bad. So I think that there is some level of excuse to be made that the weather has been very bad at Lincoln Financial Field the last 2 weeks, because it's not just Carson Wentz playing bad. It's Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, and now Russell Wilson, who's right there with Lamar Jackson for MVP. All these other quarterbacks are playing bad. So obviously it's magnified because the Eagles are losing. They can't move the ball on offense. They literally just recovered a fumble, and it looks like we're going to have to settle for another field goal attempt. It's embarrassing. Oh, it's 4th and 2. Let's live commentate. It's 4th and 2. 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. I'm going to say they're going to throw some screen that's not going to work. Let's see here. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Play clock running down. Carson Wentz drops back. No one gets open. Holds on to the ball way too long. Double clutches it and throws it. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and it's a drop. It's so... I'm officially turning on the... What other game can I put on? I put money on the Raiders. I parlayed... This is where I'm done. Seattle was betting underdogs against Philly. So I parlayed the Raiders and Seattle to win $30 on a $10 bet. And of course, the Raiders against the Jets are getting destroyed. And, I think I get a $10 bet straight up money line for the Packers to win tonight over the 49ers. That would be a big help. But, I'm officially right now turning off the Eagles game. We're going to put on probably Tampa and Atlanta. That game was pretty close. Oh, no, Bucks are actually smoking them. Carolina, New Orleans, maybe? That could be. Yeah. Okay, there we go. We're watching Carolina, New Orleans while we do this player grade. It's going to be incomplete. Like I said, things could still happen, but my grades are going to stay the same. So the score right now, as of me doing these grades, is 17-3. This is the second week in a row I've stopped watching the Eagles games. Eagles offensively, as it stands right now, Carson Wentz, 21 of 31, 130 yards, no touchdowns, a pick. Now, the pick, I actually can't even remember the pick. All the plays are so bad, they kind of just jumble together. Carson Wentz is having a nightmare, a shocker of a game. Now, we can see Russell Wilson playing bad. It's probably the weather. It's not helping. But still, Carson Wentz is just missing simple passes. Now, we can see Russell Wilson miss simple passes. But Russell Wilson's team's winning. Russell Wilson's team is coming up with a catch when they need to make a catch. Russell Wilson's team, when they fumble, they recover the ball. Russell Wilson's team can run the ball when they need to run the ball. Carson Wentz cannot. Therefore, his missed throws are a lot more damaging than what Russell Wilson has been doing today. Carson Wentz getting a D. I'm not a Wentz defender. I will when it's, clear that Wentz is playing bad. I have no agenda. I'm never going to be a guy that's going to, because Carson Wentz is this franchise and because of the MVP year, going to unnecessarily defend Carson Wentz. If I was a Carson Wentz defender, I'd still be watching this game saying, you know what? He's finally going to put it together. No, he's playing horrible right now. So, we had to, I think, we have an easy schedule coming up. We have that huge Week 16 game against Dallas. A lot of people think, hopefully Dallas loses New England tonight. That really opens up things for that to be the game, right? But I still think we need to win one of these two against New England and against Seattle. And our defense in both games against New England and Seattle, even though that was a terrible run given up, Rashad Penny, the worst tackle I've ever seen by Ronald Darby. My 2-year-old would have tackled better. And honestly, even though Darby has actually been playing well as a cover guy, that's a benchable offense. I think if you put that kind of effort on a tackle where you literally just shoulder bump a guy like something you would see, in a Black Friday raid over a Nintendo Switch, you got to get benched. I mean, who else you put out there? I don't know, but it's not really, really good. And I mean, when we're giving Carson Wentz the D, he gets the D. I'm not going to, he gets the D phrasing, but I'm not even going to be, we didn't have Alshon or Nelson Aguilar. Our wide receivers were Greg Ward and JJ and Jared Matthews. Yeah, his wide receivers sucked, and he still played bad. Like, none of these wide receivers are getting open. You got to throw it every time the wide receivers are not getting open. And Charles Davis, who's doing the commentary, you might know him from Madden, was stating these wide receivers are not getting open. They are not helping Carson Wentz, which is a completely valid point. But the running back, more often than not, be Jay or more likely Miles Sanders, is still open in the flat, and Wentz is not looking his way. That is on Carson Wentz. So, play callings, it's like one of those things where when you look at the offense, Carson Wentz is good. He's, you might have a differing opinion on, is he elite? Is he top 5? Is he top 10? Whatever. We know he's not a bad quarterback. So you look at the skill position players around him. They're not helping. The play calling is getting magnified. It's just, there's a no-win situation. Like Carson Wentz had to go into the tunnel or something like that. Like, oh no, Josh McCown's coming out. He's got the same thing. It's not just like, if Nick Foles was still here, he'd just be ruining his reputation of being that quarterback that brought us to the Super Bowl. Because no one, absolutely no quarterback in the NFL would succeed in this Eagles offense right now. I guarantee you that. And that is still saying Carson Wentz is playing very bad right now. So Wentz gets a D. Running attack, Miles Sanders, 12 carries, 63 yards, 5.3 yards per carry. Why is he not running the ball more? Absolutely the only successful plays we're getting is Miles Sanders. And unfortunately for Jay, he had a couple good first down runs. Anytime Jay comes in, they run these weird outside zones and stuff that just are terrible. But when Miles Sanders is getting the ball, he's being productive. So let's just abandon that. Let's show the fact that Doug Peterson is definitely a part of the Andy Reid coaching tree and have him abandon the only thing successful in this offense right now, which is Miles Sanders. Run game, though, like I said, Miles Sanders has been the only guy doing anything on offense right now. I'll give the running backs B-. When you look at the wide receivers, as it stands right now, Zach Ertz, 7 catches, 47 yards, 6 catches, 40 yards. Greg Ward, we're in 84, looking like AB out there. He actually looked pretty smooth. I'm not going to lie. I'd rather him out there than Nelson Aguilar. Dallas Goedert has 5 catches for 17 yards and had a ugly fumble loss. Now, not to make an excuse, but that should have been forward progress, was stopped. We saw last week against New England when Philly got a forced fumble. They said it wasn't reviewable because forward progress was ruled down. This play, they just let Dallas Goedert kept fighting for literally probably 2 seconds longer than I expected to blow the whistle dead. It was still a bad fumble by Dallas Goedert, but I personally think that play should have been blown dead. That shouldn't have been a fumble loss. But either way, Goedert not playing very well. He's good at blocking. That's pretty much it at this point. Well, it's not looking good. The outlook on Dallas Goedert as an upside tight end, even he's looking bad right now. That's what lets me know that there's something else wrong. Like the fact that Carson Wentz looks bad. The fact that Zach Ertz, who broke receptions, looked bad. Dallas Goedert looks bad. The fact that all these, I feel like it's too coincidental that all these guys are regressing at the same time. It could totally be. Carson Wentz could be a bust. Zach Ertz could have peaked last year. Dallas Goedert could be a bust. But I'm just in J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's second-round pick. We must have the worst scouting department of all time. I mean, I would personally like to be locked in a room with these guys that are Pac-12 scouts that they always herald, which is why we make all these Pac-12 picks, because they're absolute morons. And then Andre Dillard got benched. I'm finding it a hard time to believe that all of these guys are busts. They're terrible. They're not playing well. They're regressing at the exact same time. I think that is what gives me enough confidence saying that it's more than that. It's not all these guys are sucking. It's the play calling. It goes down to the coaches. The coaches are not putting these guys in the right position to make plays because clearly the talent's there, or else we wouldn't have had this evaluation of talent that actually got us a Super Bowl. So I feel like that's a quality we can kind of lessen on. But for the receivers today, They're getting, D. They were not very good. Jake Elliott continues to be the most consistent player on the team, making his 1 field goal attempt. Special teams was, okay, I guess. Actually, special teams, Boston Scott got us in pretty good field position a couple times. I'll give special teams a B+ today. Look at defense. Okay, so Roddy McLeod get a sack and a pick. We get a sack and a half Malcolm Jenkins, a sack from Fletcher Cox, a sack from Brandon Graham, a sack for Josh Sweat. Defense did their job today. Offense just kept going 3 and out. They kept getting tired. You did see on that Rashad Penny touchdown. That's an exhausted defense. That's a defense that's like, can't keep doing this. We can't keep doing these 3 and outs. It is just unacceptable. You can't expect the defense to hold up that long. So, Roddy, what do we have? Nate Gary actually had a fumble recovery too. Nate Gary's very polarizing because Nate Gary's not good enough to start. You still see, even though the box score, he's like, think about Bengal loves to rip on Alec Ogletree because Alec Ogletree ends up getting the box score stats, right? Like the sacks, the picks, and stuff like that. I know it's a meme over on his channel. We talked about it in our collab. And that's kind of like Nate Gary. Nate Gary is around the ball. He gets put in position to make plays. He will get a pick every now and again. He'll get a sack. But it's the routine plays, the plays that you expect even like a average linebacker make. He misses. He missed 2 tackles today that no. And it always seems like when Nate Gary messes up, it's on 3rd down. It's on a crucial play for us to get out the field. So, overall for the defense, I think they've done well. You go up against Russell Wilson, you give Russell Wilson that many attempts, and if we're gonna throw out if you already watched this video and you're throwing the debate, the weather doesn't have any partial, then okay, then our defense shut down Russell Wilson. Our defense made an MVP candidate like Russell Wilson look bang on average today. So it's one or the other. Either Philadelphia Eagles defense is that damn good that we shut down Tom Brady and Russell Wilson and made them both look like below average quarterbacks, or there's the weather is kind of gonna have to come into play here just a little bit. So I'm giving the defense though. They're gonna get I'll give them an A. No, we'll give them B+ because when they needed to make a stand the most to stop Rashad Penny, they didn't. And if you're getting an A is pretty much borderline. Your defense won you this game. So we're gonna have to hold them down there. We'll give them A-. I feel like they deserve that A grade a little bit. So that's the grades. I'm gonna literally save the last minute just in case there's 5 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter if Philly can do something. But I'm pretty sure this is gonna be the end of the video, and I'm absolutely depressed. Philly looking ahead. What do we got next week? Miami, I think. Philly has Miami next week. New York, Washington. Miami, New York, Washington. I'm going to say we're going to go 2-1, and we're going to lose one of those games. All 3 of those games should be absolutely winnable. I'm going to say right now, New York could probably beat us. That game's in prime time. Should get flexed because no one wants to watch the Eagles play right now. But 3 winnable games, it's going to... just imagine if the offense could have done any fucking thing the last 2 weeks and get one of these wins. Either beat New England, beats... both these games, if we had a somewhat competent offense, we would have won. Our defense played good enough in both. That does it for me today, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace out.